Again, I have another technical difficulty. I don't think my mic was on. Anyway, good day to you. This is Bob Pace. I'm your host. We're here to fight CPS and get our children back. And I want to welcome you all. And I was originally supposed to do this podcast early this morning. This is Sunday. And I had technical difficulty. And so now I'm doing my morning broadcast right now. I have one more broadcast to do later this evening. But I am live from California, and this podcast is put together by Vincent W. and Davis Associates. Have been produced. I want to thank Mr. Davis for allowing me the opportunity to be on this podcast and help others help themselves. Also, Mr. Davis would like to reach out, and if you need his help, please contact him at 888-888-6582, and I'll talk to you further about Mr. Davis. He's in my rule number 1. But anyway, this podcast is about ways of how to fight CPS and how to get your children and keep your children. The problem with CPS, and I talk about, first of all, CPS is made of several ways. One, it stands for Child Protection System. And in each state, it's called different names. In California, it's called Child Protection Services, CPS. In Arizona, it's called Department of Child Health Care. So with this being said, I'm really glad to welcome you. But anytime I talk about the CPS system, I'll say CPS. I'll try to get there. Oh, wow. We may have somebody that calls there. Bob Pace.
Yes, sir. I'm calling in. I have a DCF case in Florida.
Oh, I'm so glad you called me tonight. I know that I have 2 podcasts today, and they got all messed up with the timing. I'm glad you found one of them. And
Yes, sir.
and I was out in the sun all day today at another job. But anyway, I want to welcome you from Florida. And how can I help you?
Yes, I'm actually facing trial tomorrow.
Ooh.
But I feel that I have a very unjust DCF case, and I was wondering if there was any advice you could give me.
Well, I can tell you from my own experience. I mean, I've been involved, in the child protection system. It got started for me at 2015. Actually, it started in 2010, but it wasn't 2015 when they took my children and we went to trial. And then it was 2018 when I got my kids back. But you're at a really disadvantage. And all the people I heard from Florida say the same thing. The courtroom is like a kangaroo court. I don't know if you knew the background of your judge. I don't know. My judge was terrible. His background was auto claims and auto accidents. But I had the wrong judge for my dependency court. And then the attorneys seem to be all friends. Now, I first started out with a public defender. I wish I got a real attorney because a public defender won't really represent you, and they'll do the easiest way out. So with that being said, you're at a disadvantage. Now, do you have a professional attorney that you hired, or are you using the court-appointed attorney?
Unfortunately, it's a court-appointed attorney.
Yeah,
I'm unable to afford to hire one.
I know, and I was the same boat. I eventually had to sell my home to get an attorney, and I worked 40 years for that home, and wow. Yeah, you're in an uphill battle now. What are the children involved? What are the ages of the children involved?
I actually have 4 children. One's 18. They're only after my 2-year-old, and they don't even care that I have full custody of my 9-year-old and my 16-year-old. They're not even part of the case.
Well, if they don't care, why is it a 4-year-old you're talking about?
It's a 2-year-old. He'll be 3 actually Tuesday.
Okay, why do they have to wanting to take your 2-year-old away?
Well, they didn't actually take him from me, but all right, here's what happened. On July 16th of 2022, I did what was best for all my children. I had been running with a violation of probation warrant because I refused to walk to the probation office with the 5-month-old baby in the summertime in Florida. And I asked her to meet with me, and she denied.
Well, why did you have a probation? Why were you on probation? Did you commit a crime or something?
It was in 2018. I had got possession charge, and I signed 4 years probation. I was doing good 3 years in until I took this violation.
Understood. And now, this violation, this crime that you committed in 2018, what was the crime?
I was a possession charge in 2018 before my son was even born.
You were possession of what?
Of clozapine and amphetamine.
Oh, it's a drug-related possession. And your child was not born yet. Were you tested positive for the drugs?
No.
So there's no drugs in your system, so there wouldn't be drugs in your baby system, and you would be not neglecting your child then.
No, sir, but I basically did the right thing, but I pissed the system off. I ran on that warrant for 10 months, and I was actually able to turn myself in. I left my friend with power of attorney to take care of my young son. He is the only one that the father's not involved with. I co-parent well with the other father of my 3 kids.
So there's two biological dads involved. It sounds like you have one.
Yeah, 3 with one.
Okay.
3 children with one, and then my 2-year-old has a different father.
Okay. Now, is your biological? Are you guys together, or are you completely apart?
Oh no, we've been completely separated since the pregnancy.
Were you ever married, or it was nothing like that? He wanted nothing to do with your children, right?
He wanted nothing to do with him. Yes, sir.
Okay, your new one there, and it's really tough because, wow, you got yourself a tough case. Now, you say this is a trial, but your case been going on for a year and a half. It seems like when
I turned myself into jail, DCS basically found me 2.5 months later. I did 5.5 months on that sentence to squash everything, got all the criminal out of the way. They told me that I couldn't come out of jail and just go get my baby back, even though I left my friend with power of attorney, and she's a very trusted friend. She has an autistic son the same age. Like, they grew up like brothers. They're bonded and everything.
Okay.
So I've been fighting this coming out of jail because I didn't know the system. I've never had a DCF case in my life.
Yeah, that is tough because most people don't. I didn't either. And I trusted these people, and they're full of deception and so forth. Okay.
Yes,
how was your child taken by you? Was it with a court order, or how was your child taken?
They just basically, it was, they opened the case while I was in jail and told me that I was not allowed to go get my child from my friend. And my friend wasn't going to allow me to get my child either because she believed what DCF had said. I also believed what they had said.
Why was your friend? Was your friend approved as the child giver? I mean, as a temporary custody of your child? Then why would they? You said something that didn't make sense, that you wouldn't go. Okay.
They're trying to say that because I ran with the warrant with a young child, that basically they're insinuating I was doing the most because of the charges that was of the probation.
So, you did the smart thing by getting your criminal matter taken care of, because that's always very important. But is this considered the detention initial hearing, or is this the jurisdictional hearing, or is this the deposition?
No, this case has been going on since 2022. This is trial. They're trying to terminate my rights of only my youngest child.
Right. So this is now called the deposition. I'm trying to find out where you are in their system. So they want to terminate your medical and your educational rights,
They
right?
want to terminate my parental rights.
Completely. And what's the grounds for
Yes.
what's the ground for doing so?
It doesn't really say. In the
They've
beginning,
not given you any arguments in the paperwork you
no,
received from
I'm
them?
not allowed to talk in court. They hush me.
What do you mean they hush you?
The lawyer, like the judge, everybody there just pushed it right out. I stand there maybe 2 seconds, and then it continued. They try to confuse you. They don't explain nothing to you. I'm on my 6th court-appointed attorney.
Yeah, you got a tough one there. I'm trying to come up with some arguments that you can go back at them. Now, were you taking any parenting classes or programs?
Oh, yes. I came out of jail actually with 22 certificates. CPR, I graduated the Heart for Winter Haver program. I graduated the faith-based program in the jail. I got parenting, anger management, dating and marriage, change of heart.
Okay.
I had 22 certificates, and they did not acknowledge any of them.
Have they been presented in court yet by your public defender?
I can't even get her to acknowledge them either.
Why is she?
Like I said, every time I go to court, my public defender changes. It's never the same person.
Can you meet with the public defender before court?
I try, but they come in that elevator and then right into the courthouse.
Yeah, I know they do that.
There's no communication whatsoever between me or the attorney.
No, they're not there. They're there for the CPS. They're paid by CPS. So.
Yes, I understand they're state paid.
Boy.
I don't know what to do.
Well, you're definitely going to fight. You have to show them that you really are. You got to be polite.
I've been fighting.
Your criminal matter's done, right?
Yes.
So you have that copy of your criminal. You have the copy of the criminal matter that's finalized.
Yes.
Okay, so you got that paperwork. You got copies of all your certificates and stuff. You have to make extra copies.
I've also got a copy of the warrant that was issued because it also states that there was no concerns whatsoever for 3 years during this probation until the appointment I missed because I refused to walk with my child. And that's why I took that violation. And then I ran with my child living at the same address for 10 months until I felt that my kids were bonded enough that I could go turn myself in to jail and had somebody that was willing to take care of my child.
So all you did, your crime, the only crime you have is that you refused to ask to come in. You had a warrant to walk with. Now, when you say walk, what do you mean walk?
I take the bus system because I don't have a driver's license, and so you have to get your baby there on a stroller to walk to the bus stop or to walk from the bus stop to the probation office.
Why can
and
you?
It was Florida. It was first time in July, and I refused.
But do you have a baby carriage?
I do.
Okay, and so why can't you?
He was 5 months old, and this is Florida in July. I wasn't going to put my son in that heat.
Even if you put a wet towel hanging over the top, that would be too hot?
I would have been walking with him for an hour and a half. 30 minutes at one side, bus stop to station to station.
So the bus stop. Now, why did you have to walk? Is it because they wanted you to meet with them?
Yes. She had called me to come in and meet.
Now, what was the purpose of meeting with them?
I'm not sure. It was just a last minute thing. She wanted me to come in and drug test or something. And I had asked her if she could meet with me at my place because she knew I had a small child, and she said no.
What was the reason for not meeting at your place?
It wasn't her job to come to me.
Have you talked to a supervisor?
No. I just took the warrant that day. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, you definitely have to go to a supervisor, or you have to go to the director and tell them that you disagree and that you have full reasons to. Boy. And your public defender will not help you at all.
They're not communicating. They've switched back and forth between two ladies, and I'm very confused at which one's my attorney. The one lady, every time the judge asks her something, she just looks at her like, She has no clue about my case.
Well, you definitely have to talk to a supervisor or a director. Now, in Florida, don't they have a web page where it talks about the CPS?
Yes, I've actually wrote to the United States Inspector General, and I wrote to them back in December 21st, actually. And they just emailed me 4 nights ago that they're actually looking into my case, into the caseworkers that I had. But I'm afraid that it's too late because I go to trial, and I'm afraid they're going to take my rights before something gets seen and heard or done.
Well, there's another way you could actually extend the trial for good cause.
How's
And
that?
that cause there, if you say that the Attorney General is investigating your case and you want to hear that out before you talk your case in court.
Okay.
Or
I can bring that up tomorrow?
Yeah, why, are you in court tomorrow?
I am. I go to trial tomorrow at 8:30.
Wow.
I just got the
Well, that public defender, that public defender, you're not with them anymore, right?
Yes, it's actually regional counsel. Like I said, I don't have money to hire a lawyer. If I did, I would have a long time ago.
Yeah, I had to sell my home. I know what it is.
I'm rebuilding my whole entire life, from running without warrant. And I really thought when I turned myself in, I was doing the right thing for my babies, and I was coming out to move forward with my life. This is the hardest thing, is to do the right thing and then still nothing.
Have you looked at the Florida Department of Children and Families?
That's the one that's DCF. They're the ones that are keeping my baby from me.
Right. I'm just saying that is there anything on there?
I haven't been on their website.
Yeah, that's what I'm at their website right now. I'm looking at they just talk about explore adoption resources. Yeah. I'm looking for, there's something called child welfare dashboards. The Office of Child Welfare Dashboards is used by the DCF management in weekly chromatic reviews. Reports and records about us, contact us. DCF training. Okay. I'm trying to look at your civil rights. Okay, we're going to get a solution here. Just bear with me, okay?
Okay.
I know it's so hard.
I have noticed one.
Go ahead.
When they subpoenaed me for this trial, in their subpoena, they have my son in my custody all the way up until September 14th of 2022. which is very impossible because I turned myself in July 22nd of that year. So I know that that's false information filed in a subpoena order. Is that something I could get them for?
Well, if they still think
They don't even know the date.
you first got to establish with the court that you have no representation. And if you want to represent yourself, you're allowed to. And you can argue your points. You know, you can argue your points in there.
Okay.
Is this a correct statement? Could you go in there and make a statement to the judge, Your Honor? I wish my case to be extended because I'm not represented by an attorney, and I'm have to get one. You just found out that you're not represented by an attorney.
Yes.
Also, you can also say, Your Honor, there's some mistakes. You bring up that one about the subpoena, I think it was. You say the dates are messed up there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you need to just point that out.
Okay.
You can't ask for time. Is this the first time you've had a court appearance on this matter?
Oh no, this has been going on since I've been in jail in 2022.
Well, why are they
taking me to court all the whole time?
I know, but why have they delayed it all this time?
Lack of representation, lack of communication. I have no idea.
The reason why I bring that up is I'm trying to see if they're going to come back and just say, we already gave you time for representation.
I've done everything that they requested. I've done the substance abuse classes for 12 weeks, you know, the random drug test and all that. I've done everything. I've done all the certificates.
Now, when you were selling drugs, were you ever convicted?
That was in 2018. That led me to the probation.
Okay, so you were convicted in a criminal matter. Was it a misdemeanor or a felony?
There were 2 felonies.
2 felonies. Wow.
But that was in 2018. My son wasn't born until 2021.
Yeah, I understand.
They can't say for 3 years I didn't turn my life around. I had no violations for those whole 3 years.
So when was your case over? Before your child was born?
Yeah, it was way before that. It was 2018.
All right, well, there you go. You can say that, you know, you turned your life around. That's a good word to say it. And you have a certificate or something that shows that you no longer have a criminal offense, right?
Okay.
And that being said, you know, you want to correct some things. You know, they're going to try to shut you up. And if you be polite to them, and if you say, Your Honor, I need to approach the bench to talk to you in private, you can request that. You can request that. But if you have all those, you have your folder with all your copies of your certificates, your program release, your criminal release, and all that, that should be sufficient evidence that before your child was born, you took care of the matter. That should not be a fact today. Why is the CPS, the Child Protection System, why are they saying that you're
I can potentially harm my child?
True. But is that neglect or abuse? So they call it neglect or abuse?
Neither.
Well, you can only have a child taken away from. You can either have it. Right. You can not have it. You can only have a child taken away either from neglect or abuse. It has to be one or the other. Now, abuse could be a physical abuse where your child was crying and you slammed the child against the wall to make him quiet. That is a physical abuse. Or that you're using corporal punishment for your child. Instead of slapping or whatever it is, you're using your fist. That's physical
When
abuse.
the first caseworker came to me in jail and she said that she had located my son and seen him, she said, honey, he is so white, pale complected, that if you did leave a bruise on him, he'd still show it.
Well, I understand. Okay.
Nobody had one bad thing to say about the mother I am.
Well, okay, but that's what you need to bring it to the court. And if your court-appointed attorney isn't doing it, you need to get another attorney, and you need time. And
Okay.
you got to make yourself a little bullet on a piece of paper that points out the things that you have that are important.
I'm writing everything down.
Yeah, I know, but you need to put your bullets, like each sensor. It's like you say, first of all, you did time for a criminal act, and you've now been cleared of your criminal act. You're no longer on probation, no longer in that. That'd be one bullet. And then another bullet would be your matter was cleared up before your child was born. Now, I don't understand. You said you're in jail and your child was born? I'm confused.
No. I took the warrant when he was 5 months old. That's when I took the violation because I refused to walk with him. I was already 3 years on probation at this time.
Now, how did you get on 3 years of probation? I mean, what did you get the 3 years of probation from?
It was a possession charge in 2018. And I signed for a 4-year probation sentence.
Okay, but
I was in my last year of the probation.
Right, but your child wasn't born yet.
No, he was born in 2021. He was born 5 months before I took the violation.
Oh, so if you had done the violation before he was born.
I refused to walk with the baby. That's what violated me.
Oh.
I missed that appointment.
Well, you have due cause. You have a due cause, the termination called due cause. And you could say for the welfare of my child and the welfare of myself, I cannot walk to the office of CPS.
No,
I don't have
to the office of probation.
Okay. Well, who's at probation? CPS doesn't operate probation.
No, that was the probation officer requesting me come in for the drug test because I was on probation. And I asked her to come to me instead at my residence because I had a baby, and she said it wasn't her job to.
And then she called CPS when you told her you had a baby.
She violated me, so I had moved residence that night knowing I was going to be violated on my probation.
Wow.
And then I moved into a sweet hotel room with my child and stayed there 10 months during the whole violation. The whole time I was running with the warrant, I was at the same spot for 10 months.
Well, how did you pay for? Did you have a job?
I would clean rooms at the hotel. I'd babysit people's kids. I washed cars. I did any side job I could find. I kept the bills paid.
Well, I have a here expression here because I'm trying to study Florida right now. It says Florida law requires the child protection investigator to determine if any child in your home has been harmed. If abuse or neglect has occurred, services are available to assist your family in keeping your child safe and preventing future abuse or neglect. Is that applicable to you?
Yes.
Okay, what can CPS do and cannot do in Florida? Unless CPS has a court order or they believe your child is in immediate danger. Now, see, that's where every time CPS lately, they think every child is in immediate danger.
They had no idea about the power of attorney that I had signed to my friend. So they put it down in the original first report that he was basically neglected and had no guardian. But that was false because clearly I have power of attorney in play.
Okay.
So that shows that I made a plan for my child. I didn't just leave him with.
Yeah, well, they can't enter your home unless you give them permission, or they have
I
a
was in
court
jail,
warrant.
honey. They found me in jail. They opened this case while I was already in jail.
Okay.
They didn't find me out here on the streets. I was sitting in jail for 2.5 months already when they came at me and opened this case and told me I couldn't come out and go get my son, that I had neglected him. It really feels like kidnapping to me.
Well, it's child trafficking. They do child trafficking and they try to do it legal, which is illegal. You do not child traffic children, put them in foster care. They do it because they get the money every month. They get, $20,000 per child from the federal government. They get money from the state. It's child trafficking is what they do.
It really feels like kidnapping.
Mm-hmm.
Since November, my friend, she gave up on him. She couldn't do it anymore. So they stuck him in a foster home. And now we get 1-hour visits a week. They miss our visits every other week.
Right. Well, they tell you what to say and not say for CPS. You want to choose your words carefully. Despite how emotional charged these situations are, you must remain calm when interacting with social workers and police officers. Anything you say will be used in a CPS investigation as evidence. In many circumstances, best way to say nothing at all. I've always that's my rule number 3. Just do not say anything, say nothing at all. So is your child was it considered abuse or neglect?
They're trying to say neglect.
Okay.
That I left him without a guardian.
There are 4 types in Florida of child neglect. There's physical neglect. A child's basic needs such as food, clothing, or shelter are not met, or they aren't properly supervised or kept safe. Now, does that fit your category or not?
No, he had everything he needed.
Okay. And there's not definitely education neglect because a parent does not ensure that it has to ensure the child is given education. He's been encouraged to go to school, right?
He's talking full sentence. When I turned myself in, he was 15 months old. He was already talking full sentences. He was trying to use the potty. He was everything on point with his age. He was my 4th kid.
Well, see, I don't understand what emotion of neglect in Florida that give you the types. There's emotional, medical. Was there emotional neglect with him or medical neglect?
No, they're saying that I failed to leave him with a caregiver. But they, at the same time, they were not aware of the power of attorney, and they're still trying to play it. Now that they know about the power of attorney, they're still trying to push it in front of the judge like they didn't even hear it. But my attorney, at the same time, they're hushing me, and my attorney's not speaking for me.
Wow. Is it passive neglect, I wonder? The failure by a caregiver to provide a person with the necessities of including but limited to food, clothing, shelter, or medical care because of failure to understand the person's need, lack of awareness, and serves to help them meet the needs, or lack of capacity to care for the person.
No, he had all needs met.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
He's above average.
Yeah.
For the, he's free Tuesday, but he's the size of a 4-year-old.
So I'd have to spend more time to look at this because I'm trying to help you as best as I can there.
Yes, sir.
And so I had some people come in there. Nicole just entered, sent a text message. Hi, Nicole. Faye Manning is writing something. She's my regular room in there. I missed all these notes when I was looking at your case in Florida, so I need to go through them. Hey, Bob, just jumped on 1 minute ago, wondering what state if she could run back what happened. She's talking about your state of Florida. Nicole, she's in Florida. And hi, Faye. I'm sorry I was a little late saying hi. Why they're not recommending reunification? Are they against recommending unification?
I don't know why they're against it. They won't give me clear reasoning.
Have you asked them?
Yes.
Okay.
They told me to talk to my attorney.
Wow. Okay, and Faye's saying something further. Couldn't she ask for a stay of trial or proceeding? A stay of trial. Let's see what stay of trial. Stay of trial. A lot of people in this room want to help you. That's what's nice about this. What a stay of trial is, it suspends all proceedings. And it may be limited. So that's what you're asking for is a temporary, a stay.
Okay.
It's ruling by the court to stop or suspend a proceeding or trial temporarily or indefinitely. A court may later lift the stay and continue the proceedings. Some stays are automatic, but others are up to judicial distraction. Usually the pendency of appeal usually stays proceedings in local courts. That's the sad part. I'm not an attorney, far from it. That's why. See, a stay of
Would that mean that they would place my son back with me, or would he have to stay in the foster home where he's at?
Well, they're going to keep him in the foster home. I don't think they're going to give him back to you yet.
Yeah, see, I have a 16-year-old son that because they're keeping his little brother from him, like literally the first time I took him to visit, my 16-year-old stands 6'1". The caseworker insinuated, because she had no idea I had 3 other kids, that I had brought a boyfriend to visit. She's like, oh, your visits are only for you and your child. I said, yeah, I brought my other child, his brother. What is he, chopped liver? And her eyes got real big. And my son won't even go back. He is on probation and is violated 3 times because he's now bonded to his brother. So since November, he ain't even seen him but 1 time. That hurts a 16-year-old boy. I'm sorry.
Well, here's what you could try is you want to stay at the proceedings because you need to get an attorney that can represent you and get your arguments to the court. You need to display that you have information that says you're clear of any criminal matter before your child was born. Just because you have a record doesn't mean you could be neglect to your children or abuse to your children.
I haven't gotten any new charges since what led me to that probation in 2018.
Yeah. Well,
even still today.
Well, see, in Florida, now, is this a jury trial or what is this? Just
I don't understand because
Well,
they haven't
then you
seen
can
it.
ask that you like to have a stay because you're not presented with what this trial is about. Meaning that, have you gone to the city clerk? Not the city clerk. I'm sorry. Have you gone to the dependency clerk of that courtroom and asked for the copies of your records?
No, I have not.
Because there might be something in there.
I didn't know I could do that.
It says here, what happens when your trial comes to end? Well, the court enters a judgment based on the verdict, and the jury is released from. This is a jury trial. This is not helping me at all. It is so hard. I feel so.
They haven't even tried to do a home study with me. I've been in the same place since November.
Yeah.
I've gotten fired from a few jobs, but I've been holding down this last one only because it's like a mom and pop and they have no problem work once my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But like working at Denny's, doing all the random. How many jobs randomly let you call out a week to go take a drug test?
Yeah, you're right.
And I take the bus system, so it's not a 20-minute drive down the road. It's hours.
Because you live out in the boondocks in Florida, right?
I live on the other end of the county from where everything is. So yeah.
Now, you say you don't have any documents what this whole case is about?
I have just the documents from when I was in jail. I haven't received any new ones for my.
Okay, when you read the documents, what does the document say you're charged with?
Neglect. I didn't leave them with a supervisor, like a guardian. That's what they're saying. That's the whole basis of everything, and they want to go back and look at that there was a power of attorney. Because that's not true. There's power of attorney in place. I'm praying the Inspector General looks at it.
Well, see, that's another thing. You can say you want to stay because you have some information from the Inspector General about your case.
I did forward that email to my attorney, but it's still yet to hear back.
Oh yeah, your attorney won't share that with the court. You gotta share that with the court.
I did it to the caseworker too. I showed it to her.
And what she?
They're investigating. They're investigating.
Well, they're gonna try to stall. They're gonna play games with you. They always try to lead you on. Main thing is that you gotta remain calm. I know it's hard not to because it's very emotional when your children are taken from you. I know how you feel. I lost my 12-year-old daughter, who at age 12 was told by the social worker to divorce her mom and dad, divorce her brothers, divorce her grandmothers, her grandfathers, to change her name, to seal up her birth certificate, and be adopted. And she followed suit, and we didn't have her child. We didn't have her child back.
How do you just, like my other kids, how do you just tell them, hey, you don't have a little brother no more?
Well, what I did with my two sons, I said, I want you to still see your sister. She's still your sister. I don't care what the court said. So they see my sister they see my daughter from time to time.
I can't get my 16-year-old to go back to the visits with me. My daughter does. And my oldest son.
Don't worry about the other children right now at the moment. They'll be fine, but you don't want to. Your focus is to get stayed for that trial because you don't want them to settle that trial and lose your rights. Now, you can appeal. If the decision's made that you don't like, you can appeal it. But again, you gotta research it. I mean, see, I'm trying to help you without advice of attorney. And that is somebody that is a specialist of how to work with them. I mean, I tell people, doing open heart surgery requires a surgeon, requires somebody that's been to medical
Exactly.
school and has been interned and has been mentored by other doctors before they can be considered a full-time heart specialist. Because when you have your heart done and you're having a valve fixed, that's specialized work. Well, that is the same way in CPS. CPS, is bad, and so they're really, really bad.
I understand.
Okay. Let's see what the room's saying too. Faye said some things here. Could she ask for stay? Yeah. And then she's. Here's a web page that might help you out. Do you see it on my screen? Do you see it on my screen?
No, I'm on my phone talking.
Okay, that's right. That's right. You got paper and pencil?
I do.
Okay, you want to write HTTPS
Okay.
colon
Got it.
/ twice
Got it.
EN period M period Wikipedia WIKIPEDIA .org
Okay.
/ wiki WIKI / stay, that's capital STAY _ OF lowercase _ proceedings lowercase PROCEEDINGS. That's a link that talks about a stay.
Okay.
And that's coming from Faye. She's from Richmond, Kentucky. Now, she says a stay is an action taken by a court to stop a legal proceeding or in the actions of a party. A stay most commonly is issued by a court as a stay of proceedings in order to stop litigation from continuing. They normally are only temporary, though. I'm just trying to gain you some time.
Definitely.
Okay, Nicole is saying something different too. Nicole, right, you have not been properly served in trial. That's another problem. That'd be a problem for appeal.
Okay.
Nicole is saying they have to file for permanent custody months in advance. After they did that, they will not do a home study, but the goal should have come out. Then she hasn't been properly served to trial. I don't think you've been properly served, Gree. I knew that from the very start. Now, Faye is saying continuous in what a court may grant to delay proceedings until a later date. Parties in a suit or the judge themselves may wish to have a continuous grant in order to prepare for the proceedings. It is similar to a stay. If she can get a 30-day continuance, it can give her time for the AG to look into, the Attorney General to look into the possible errors in your case and better prepare. So the more I've been talking, the more it sounds like you want to ask for a stay.
Definitely.
And if the judge asks you what time, you can say 60 days, 90 days, as long as you can. And your reason behind it is your Attorney General has found something that he found problem with your case. Now, Nicole says that the guardian of them should have come to your house. You see, if they had temporary custody, they should have came to your house.
Nope.
Huh. She needs to ask for time for an attorney. Yeah, I agree there. She needs to set them. She needs to set them. The kids have Indian. Oh yeah, they're talking about the Iqua, but I don't know. Do you have Indian blood in you at all? Native American Indian blood?
I do, but my family's so broken, I can't trace it back without them.
Right. You have to be registered in the tribe or could be registered in the tribe. If it's one of the federal recognized tribes,
my history.
Well, what happened is that CPS must turn the children over to the Indian tribe so that the Indian tribe can place the child in a temporary arrangements with the Indian family until they get you back on your feet or get the problem resolved, whatever the neglect is. It was very vague on the neglect that they're doing. Now, I don't know if it's an ICWD. Nicole's talking about an ITCWD case. That's where a child is sent from one state to another state. Your child's never been sent to different states, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Only born in Florida.
Right. Guardian at light is also supposed to speak with you. Whoever the guardian is.
Told me with my attorney, she didn't even have no idea that I had other children a year into the case. When I had right when my son got placed into foster care, and I was worried about siblings being separated, not seeing each other. The effects that it's taken on my 16-year-old son getting a criminal charge and violating 3 times in less than a 6-month period is what I was bringing to her attention. And she told me to talk to my lawyer, that she had nothing to say to me.
Wow.
I had said something. I said, if you're the best interest of my child, why is this okay that this is happening to my other children? What about their best interest?
Well, I think your strong case right now is you want to stay because your attorney general, and you can show them the paperwork. Your attorney general says there's some concerns that they have, and you want to play that out. And then show them that what the attorney general has said.
The attorney general said that he had passed it to the next department of investigation. And if I don't hear from them by April 29th, they give me a number to contact.
Okay, but you're going to have to ask for a stay. You got to get that stay in place.
Definitely.
And you could say that you want to look for an attorney. They should give you that extension. And I'm so sorry you have to go through with this. This is not very nice at all.
It's not. I just keep saying God has a reason for it. I don't know why.
Now, is your child in a foster care home, or what's it in?
Yes. In November, my friend had called DCS saying that she couldn't do it anymore. It got about to be too much for her and her autistic son. She just had too much on her hands.
Okay.
And so they basically threw him in foster home since November.
Okay. They have to be, let me see here. They have to be served. Also, the father been served of the trial. Now, the biological father, has he been terminated so he has no longer any rights to the child?
Yes.
Nicole's funny there. She says if she catches COVID tonight, they'll have to continue it. Wow.
Don't speak that. I don't believe it.
I know. It's just some of these people are trying to help and stuff. But you want to stay and you have a good grounds because you have the attorney.
It's
Attorney General has found some information about your case that they're going to make a ruling on, and you need that to come through. So I'd ask for a stay, and then hopefully tomorrow you can call me on my Tonight show tomorrow, and I can hear what happened.
Definitely.
Because I'm slowly running out of time. I have about 4 minutes, but don't panic. I have another show in another half an hour. And so I continue if you want to call back in. I was supposed to do this show early this morning, but I had technical difficulties, so I had to do it in this evening. And then my nighttime broadcast that was scheduled from 7 o'clock to 9:30 tonight Pacific Standard Time, I still have left to do. So I don't want you to feel abandoned. I'm not trying to abandon you. I'm trying to help you. And Nicole and Faye, if you can join me at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time for my next show, I really appreciate that. All of you listening in there is go ahead and do so. And we can continue it with the other show there. Because I never want you to give up. You sound like a good person. You've worked hard. Unfortunately, you've had some screw-ups that people in life do, but there's nothing wrong with that. Every parent can be still a good parent. And I care what you're going through. I really feel for you, and I just wish I could wave a wand and make it all go away. But I want you to keep in touch. Don't give up. I think we got a solution. Tonight we worked on it, so I'm glad you called in. I'm also glad to hear from Faye and Nicole. Thank you for texting in and so forth. And again, thank you for, calling me to be on my show. You've handled yourself quite well, and you sound like a really positive person, so I'm glad to hear that. So with further word now, I'm going to go ahead and end the show. Good luck, everyone. I'll see you at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is not too far off. And this is Bob Pace signing off.